All right, everybody, now settle down. Settle down. Somebody forgot to put the gavel up here. I have nothing to pound with. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the 37th Annual Santa Rosa Merit Awards Ceremony. It's a pleasure for me to be with you this evening. We are recognizing people who make a difference in our community. And as you can see, there are a lot of people who make a difference in our community. Don't clap too loud. We don't want the fire marshal to find out we're in here. Oh. Thank you, Chief. Don't make such a big difference that you make us evacuate here. So, before we start, I'd like to welcome the 2018 Merit Award recipients, many of you in the audience, the people who nominated them, members of the Santa Rosa City Council who are sitting down here in front, and you'll hear from them soon, members of the Board of Community Services and the Community Advisory Board. Wave your hands. Board of Community Services, Community Advisory Board, volunteers who work hard for the city. Our merit, thank you. Our Merit Award Committee, here. And everyone else who is here tonight, give yourselves a hand also. Thank you all for coming tonight. Merit Awards in Santa Rosa began in 1978, a short 40 years ago, when the City Council wanted a way to acknowledge and honor the efforts of those citizens who go above and beyond to make a difference in their community. The Merit Award Committee was formed as a subcommittee of the Board of Community Services, and board members are hardworking volunteers themselves. They see the value in promoting and celebrating all of the outstanding volunteers in Santa Rosa. Santa Rosa is lucky, truly lucky, to have so many citizens who believe in our community and want to make it a better place. And when disaster struck last October, the community rose to new and unfamiliar challenges in countless ways, both large and small. These Merit Awards tonight acknowledge those who go above and beyond in several categories. And those categories are beautifying our community, expanding the artistic and historic culture of our city, enriching our neighborhoods, serving others, particularly young people, seniors, and those in need, and community heroes. We have a lot of community heroes. A lot of you are sitting here tonight. A lot of you, most of you know a community hero. And I just am so happy to be able to be here tonight to say thank you to those people who are heroes in this community in so many ways. So tonight, you're going to see the thread of fire-related volunteerism and generosity, weaving through many of the categories of awards. A record number of nominations were received this year, highlighting the fact that the most difficult times often bring out the best in all of us. There are many unsung heroes in Santa Rosa, and we wish we could give awards to every single one of them. For tonight, though, we honor 18 individuals and groups whose accomplishments have made a difference in people's lives and have made Santa Rosa a better place. Before we thank all of you, I want to thank the Merit Awards Committee. Carolina Spence, who's the chair, Farah Cuenca, Diane Test, Vince Harper, Alexis Nicolai, Jasmine Gudino, Veronica Cruz. Thank you all for your work to make this event possible. And now I'd like to introduce Carolina Spence, the Board of Community Services Vice Chair and Chair of the Merit Awards Committee. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor Corsi. We're going to give him time to wander over in his direction where he hands off. So I'm killing time for you now. Don't rush. It has been my pleasure to be chairing the Merit Awards Committee this year. The program, we began in December with a call to the community for nominations, and then we reviewed and selected from the wonderful nominations that finalized list of honorees that we are celebrating tonight. During the ceremony this evening, each committee member will take a few moments to describe the achievements of the Merit Award winner, and then we'll invite the individual or group down to accept their award from the mayor. Your photograph will be taken at this time. Please note it's suitable for framing. Think about Christmas cards. And now I would like to introduce my friend, Council Member John Sawyer, who will be introducing the first category.
Well, good evening, everyone. Because I won't have an opportunity to personally thank each of the recipients, the honorees tonight, I would like to do that first, congratulations to each and every one of you for the incredible volunteerism that you have exhibited for the city of Santa Rosa. It is a major part of why our city is so strong and so great. So thank you so much. And I also wanted to acknowledge the nominators. Just so everyone knows, this is not a usual number of people in this chamber for the Merit Awards Committee. There having been on this side of the dais as a committee member for a number of years, I can tell you that at times it is difficult to get the word out and to have people that would not otherwise be acknowledged, to be acknowledged by the city and our residents. So keep in mind, when you see good work and you see volunteerism above and beyond, or what doesn't even appear to be above and beyond, just good volunteerism, let the committee know, because usually it's a bit of a struggle to get people to come forward and say, this person does great work, or this person does good things for my neighborhood, or my community, or my school, or whatever it might be. So think about that throughout the year, because this is unusual, and it makes sense because of the incredible number of wonderful heroics and volunteerism, the likes of which the city perhaps has never seen before. And in some ways, I hope that the necessity for that kind of volunteerism and heroism won't be necessary for quite some time again. And finally, I want to thank the committee. I know how hard it is to receive those recommendations for acknowledgement and to have to make the choices. So it is not easy work. It's very difficult work because you have to say no. Ultimately, you can't acknowledge everyone, and you have to say no. And especially on a year like this, that is not easy to do. So to introduce the first category, the cultural enrichment category recognizes those who have worked to enrich the artistic and historic culture of Santa Rosa. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Vince Harper, and I am on the Community Advisory Board. And I get the honor and privilege to talk about the ukuleleans who were playing earlier today. Weren't they awesome? When I heard them, I drifted away to vacation. So ukuleleans and James Friend. Ukuleleans were founded by James Friend at the Bennett Valley Senior Center in Santa Rosa in 2011. Since then, the group has grown significantly. The ukuleleans are a group of talented and gracious people who use their musical skills to bring joy and happiness to others. They use their abilities to perform free shows to a variety of community groups. They have given hundreds of performances in the last several years, estimated to be about one per week. These shows are performed at social service groups such as Catholic Charities, CRI, Primrose, Recreation and Parks, and many others. One of the ukuleleans' favorite places to perform is the California Disability Services, formerly called the Redwood Enterprise Industries. They play there a few times a year and are recognized for performing annually at their holiday party. They entertain dozens of developmentally disabled adults with a wild rock and roll set that gets everybody dancing. Not only is it entertaining for the audience, but the performers themselves have so much fun and truly enjoy what they do. We'd also like to recognize Bill Spence, who leads the beginner's ukulele class. In addition, he also created a specific program for the Earl Baum Vision Center that teaches ukulele to adults with no or low vision. To date, there are about 70 students in his beginner's class and up to 40 in his intermediate class. There are a variety of sessions held each week for various skill levels, and the group only continues to grow. Their musical talents shine bright in our community, and we're honored to have them here today. Join me in honoring the ukuleleans. Woo! Come on down, come on down. Yeah, it might be better to bring him down first.
Well, they could kind of fuss over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to have Chris.
Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Chris Rogers. I'm the Vice Mayor here in Santa Rosa, and I have the honorable task of introducing the most straightforward award of the night. We have the Beautifying Our Community Award, and this is an award we give out every year to community leaders and organizations who recognize and enhance the beauty and the livability of Santa Rosa. I think in particular this year, those two words, beauty and livability, mean a separate thing to every single person who lives in this city and will continue to for the next couple of years. So I just want to extend my thank you to everybody who was nominated in this category for all the work that you do and that you will continue to do in the coming years. Thank you so much.
So you got me again. Sorry, thank you, Councilmember Rogers, and I forgot to say thank you to Councilmember Sawyer as well. So when you get a little nervous, you kind of forget things. So it's my honor to talk about this next group, the Roseland Community Building Initiative. And go ahead and have you guys start working your way up to the front while I'm reading. So the Roseland Community Building Initiative, also known as CBI Leaders, are a group of Roseland residents committed to improving the quality of life in Roseland by working on reducing youth crime in the neighborhood. The Roseland CBI leaders meet once a week, planning and evaluating the work they've done over the past year and a half. One of the strategies of the group has implemented is to improve the visual appearance of their neighborhood. To achieve this goal, the group has planned and conducted 3 neighborhood beautification projects, which included a cleanup of the Sunset Avenue neighborhood in December 2016, a cleanup event on Earth Day in April of 2017, which extended to other streets in Roseland, and a cleanup event on Make a Difference Day in October 2017. Throughout all 3 events, Roseland CBI leaders led community volunteers in a variety of different activities throughout the various parts of Roseland, and that included picking up trash, removing large discarded items, gardening, graffiti removal, and mural painting. The Roseland CBI leaders have worked together to bring in many community partners to help with the events, including Community Action Partnership, the city's Neighborhood Revitalization Program, the city's Creek Stewardship Program, the Sonoma County Sheriff's Office, and Land Pass. They also brought in volunteer students from Roseland University Prep, Roseland Collegiate Prep, high schools to participate. The group also secured a $500 donation at the Southwest Santa Rosa Health Action Chapter and sought donations from local businesses for these projects. This wonderful group of neighborhood leaders continue to make Roseland a better place to live, work, and play. Please join us in honoring the Roseland Community Building Initiative leaders. Oh, should I say that? Okay. I'll say thank you, Jim. Great. I can do that. Thank you, Roseland CBI, and thank you, Mayor Corsi, for giving the awards tonight. Oh, and it's my honor to introduce Councilmember Tom Swedhelm.
Thank you, Vince. I know how much you love talking in front of about 170 people here. That's great. So I would be remiss. It's so great to see so many people excited about being in this chamber, and I would like to extend an invitation to all of you. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we will be meeting in the same chamber talking about the budget. So please come if you want to learn a little bit more. It might have a little bit different tone, but you're all invited. There'll be plenty of room. So it's my pleasure to introduce a new category here, and it's titled Community Heroes. And having, obviously all of us in this room have survived the fires. I live in the Coffee Park area, and realizing how many heroes we have and how this group of individuals was able to select this number, because there are literally thousands of heroes in this community. And fortunately, I get to meet them every day, and you hear these different human stories about everyone taking an active role in this community. They weren't waiting for other people to ask someone to help. They actually did it themselves. Whether you're evacuating, you're helping feed people, you're doing something else to add value to this community. So thank you, because we have thousands of heroes in this community, and it's just crazy to hear all the positive feeling. And what I would like to challenge everyone, let's not wait for the next disaster, as Councilmember Sawyer said. Let's hope it's going to be years or decades or eons before we ever have that again. But let's not wait to continue to keep this engagement, this good feeling that Santa Rosa has now. Let's keep going. Let's not wait for a disaster to keep that momentum building. So with that, it's my distinct pleasure to recognize or announce the Community Heroes. The Community Heroes category is new this year to honor those who rose to the challenge during and after the October wildfires to address critical needs in Santa Rosa. And introducing these will be, there's several. Thank you.
While the recent firestorms were taking their tolls on our community, many people were displaced from their homes, lost their homes, and lost their beloved pets. Sonoma County Pet Rescue and Reunification Group, a group of concerned and caring Sonoma County citizens, saw a need for pet reunification and quickly stepped in to fill that need. This group came together on their own with no prior direction or involvement with each other, but were united in their purpose to bring hope and peace to members of our community and their pets. This is an organized network of more than 40 volunteers who look for cats every night, and in the last 6 months, volunteers have helped Sonoma County Animal Service reunite more than 250 cats with their owners. They are constantly reaching out to owners of missing pets in search of any information to aid in creating a profile for each pet, reaching out to hundreds of people. In order to find lost pets, these volunteers become pet trappers who work tirelessly day and night in the areas of total devastation, including Coffee Park and Fountain Grove. They spend endless nights in total darkness, trapping cats in hopes of reunification with their owners. In the Fountain Grove area in particular, many pets are lost in a vast open area, which is home to bobcats, coyotes, foxes, in addition to the more commonly seen raccoons, skunks, and possums. The terrain is difficult to maneuver, and each volunteer is responsible for a large area. One fire victim who lost her pet explained that this special group brings her hope. She goes on to say, "I know there is little chance he made it, but just to know people are out there looking helps me feel better. To know that pets haven't been forgotten and simply left behind gives hopes to those pet owners and their families." One of the more recent reunifications was between the pet owner and her cat, Rosie, who was lost over 6 months ago in the beginning of the firestorm. She was not seen for 6 months until the second week of March when she was found. A volunteer immediately recognized Rosie and texted the owner photos at 10 in the evening. Rosie's owners immediately pulled her kids out of the bed and loaded them in the car to drive to the volunteer's home. They still cannot believe Rosie is home. Suffice it to say, this group has done a lot and continues to do a lot for our community out of the kindness of their own hearts, and our community can rest a little easier knowing to this day they are still out there trapping and reuniting cats and their owners. Please help us honor Sonoma County Pet Rescue and Reunification Team.
Well, we all feel better already that you're not going to leave us midpoint. That would be embarrassing. Thanks, Chris. It is my honor to talk about Chuck Frampton. On Monday, October the 8th, 20 houses in the southwest corner of Coffee Park barely survived a wildfire that raced through Santa Rosa. The next day, when a flare caused the loss of another home. And here came Chuck Frampton. Chuck, at this time, would you mind coming and standing down here? This is quite a story. Thank you. I'm going to totally embarrass you. Okay, now we're going to talk about you and really embarrass you. Chuck led the way to try and save that home and protect every one of the others for 7 days, 24 hours a day. He rallied for help from friends, neighbors, hooked up to the fire hydrant, and then worked tirelessly cleaning up debris and watering down everybody's yard and home. He had dozens of 5-gallon buckets filled with water, this is the workout part, lining his driveway. So when a flare-up occurred, he carried the buckets and extinguished the fire. Then he set up a command center in his front yard to distribute water, food, flashlights, batteries for all his neighbors all through the day. But most of all, and this is when you need to get your Kleenex box out, most of all, he brought a thermos of hot water every day to one of the elderly neighbors so she could have her hot cocoa every morning. Chuck's neighborhood calls him a hero, and so do we. Thank you, Chuck.
I'm Diane Test, and I have the honor of introducing the next 3 medical professionals who, through their individual and collective efforts, became community heroes. Peggy Walsh-Goebel. Peggy Walsh-Goebel is a nursing instructor at the Santa Rosa Junior College and a Red Cross disaster volunteer. She has a PhD in nursing science and is also bilingual. Peggy had just returned from helping the Red Cross with Hurricane Harvey in Texas when she herself evacuated to the Santa Rosa Veterans Memorial Building the morning of October of 17 fires. She quickly realized the great need to tend to the medically fragile. About 1,000 people and pets evacuated to the Vets Building. When the building was opened, she and others had nothing. No coffee, no beds, no food, and no medical supplies. It was chaos. There was no plan. She sent out teams in ambulances to pick up critical medicines and supplies and to provide transport for the acutely ill to Santa Rosa Memorial Hospital. Needing many sorts of supplies, she then went to Costco, pounding on the doors to open, and also contacted Kaiser and Sutter hospitals for help. She set up a MASH-like hospital, getting medical supplies, hospital beds, hearing aids, canes, etc. for evacuees. There were approximately 600 evacuees needing medical care, some with cardiac issues, cancer, COPD, infections, and Alzheimer's, etc. When doctors and nurses from Northern California started arriving, she supervised and vetted them. It was in this setting that she met and worked closely with Dr. Joe Clendenin. She also contacted Robert Pellegrini, owner and pharmacist of Tuttle's Pharmacy, for prescriptions. After the first 2 to 3 days, the Grace and Finley buildings at the fairgrounds were opened for the walking well. The Red Cross volunteers then started arriving. After a week, the lines became blurred between the medically challenged and the walking well, with some of the medical needing evacuating to the fairgrounds buildings. She then oversaw the medical needs of both shelters. Her ability to evaluate what was needed, coordinate available resources, and how to tend to 1,000 evacuees over the course of 2 weeks was truly remarkable. Peggy is extremely grateful to the medical professionals and others who recognize the need in this crisis at a scale never before witnessed. Congratulations, Peggy Walsh-Goebel, community hero. Dr. Joseph Clendenin. Now retired, Dr. Joe Clendenin spent 30 years in private practice in Sonoma County. He is a Red Cross volunteer who has helped with numerous disasters around the country, including many hurricanes. Dr. Clendenin was in Boston the morning of October 8th when a neighbor called him, then the Red Cross called him, about needing help with the expected evacuation of thousands of people due to the fires. He quickly arrived home and jumped into action. It was during his first few hours of help that he met Nurse Peggy Walsh-Goebel. Kaiser and Sutter hospitals and 7 skilled nursing facilities had to be closed. Kaiser and Sutter hospitals, upon his arrival at the Vets building, the room was full of evacuees. Dr. Clendenin worked until 11 p.m. that night. He and Peggy Goebel worked as a team, aiding the medically challenged. During the first week, they were managing medical care primarily at the Veterans Building, with the initial support of Kaiser and then the Red Cross. It was through social media and software for the medical community that hospitals, medical schools, and medical staff throughout Northern California received requests for help. About 600 doctors, nurses, and staff came to Sonoma County to assist. Dr. Clendenin and Peggy Goebel recruited, supervised, and oriented the incoming medical professionals. There were patients needing medical treatment, prescriptions, assistance with canes, walkers, and hearing aids. This was a high-stress situation for everyone involved. For 2 weeks, Dr. Clendenin continued his good work, sleeping on a cot and helping the medically challenged. Miraculously, no lives were lost at the shelters. Congratulations, Dr. Joe Clendenin, for being a community hero. Robert Pellegrini and the team of Tuttle's Pharmacy. Robert Pellegrini is the owner and pharmacist at Tuttle's Pharmacy, has been in business in Santa Rosa for many years. In the early hours of the October fires, CVS and Walgreens pharmacies were closed. When the evacuees arrived at the Vets building and at the fairgrounds, most came without life-saving medications. Red Cross volunteer Peggy Goebel contacted Robert Pellegrini, and he agreed to have her drop off 67 critical prescriptions for the critically ill evacuees. He worked at his pharmacy till 1 a.m. and personally delivered them to Peggy at the Vets building. He refused to accept payment for the prescriptions. There was no time to get insurance authorizations. When asked why he refused to accept payment, he stated it was just something he needed to do for his community. Robert continued to sleep and work at the pharmacy for 1 week, making deliveries at night. In addition to filling prescriptions for evacuees, he and his staff filled prescriptions for their regular customers. There was a constant line around Tuttle's Pharmacy for 3 days. Robert and his caring staff worked diligently to fill everyone's prescriptions, both in the store as well as at the shelters. Regular Tuttle's customers are so fond of Robert Pellegrini and his dedicated staff that for an entire month, they regularly dropped off food to Robert and the staff. Congratulations, Robert Pellegrini and the staff at Tuttle's Pharmacy. Accepting this award for Robert Pellegrini and Tuttle's staff is Office Manager Debbie Ling.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Danielle Ronshausen. I am the Community Engagement Coordinator here at the city, and I would like to call down CAB member Xavier Nazario. Can we have you come down here, please? Enough cannot be said for the amazing voluntary work that our next Merit Award recipient has done. He is an example of a Santa Rosa resident that is dedicated to his community and to making his community a better place to live, work, and play. Santa Rosa resident Xavier Nazario volunteers his time with the City of Santa Rosa's Community Advisory Board, also known as the CAB. As a CAB member, Xavier volunteers his time to attend monthly CAB meetings, community and city-sponsored meetings, and to work at community events. In addition to his work with the CAB, Xavier also volunteers in his daughter's classroom for Maker Monday. He is also currently leading a grassroots effort to help find a permanent home for the Cesar Chavez Language Academy. He completed the Leadership Santa Rosa program and is part of the Executive Council for the University of San Francisco North Bay alumni. However, what stands out most about Xavier is what he did for a fellow CAB member after the October 2017 wildfires. He truly went above and beyond the call of duty for any CAB member during this time. Xavier learned that CAB member Linda Adrian not only lost her journey's end home in the fire, but also suffered a major medical emergency during the disaster, which required her to have open heart surgery just days after losing her home. As soon as Xavier heard what had happened, he stepped up and took action. He acted as Linda's advocate so she could focus solely on recovering from surgery. He went to the local assistance center on her behalf, filled out disaster relief and financial aid applications, conducted a housing search for her, and helped secure an apartment that would be ready for her to move into once she was ready to leave the hospital. He also helped her find furniture for her new apartment, brought her car to her apartment, and continued to follow up on applications and other items related to her recovery. He even created a spreadsheet to track all the agencies and organizations he reached out to and applications that he filled out on Linda's behalf. He also took the time out of his busy work and family schedule to visit Linda in the hospital and checked in with her on a regular basis. Linda has expressed how grateful she is for his help and that he is like the grandson she never had. She states that she doesn't know where she would be right now if he hadn't been there to help. Xavier is truly a community hero. I would like to introduce Councilmember Jack Tibbetts.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you tonight, and I'm sitting here in the front row thinking how lucky we are to have so many people like you stepping up without being asked, just out of the goodness of your heart and the drive of your spirit to get amazing things done for this community. I'm going to be introducing the Serving Others category, a category that's near and dear to my heart, because serving others is something that we are all charged with doing as citizens within a community. It's the people that make decisions on a daily basis when posed with the opportunity to help themselves or help others, continually help others. And this community, time and again, really has proven that it's a community that is in service to one another. The individuals that are going to be awarded tonight from these categories did this so well that they've been recognized for it by their peers. And so I just want to again say thank you very much and enjoy your evening.
During the recent Sonoma County firestorms, many people face unforeseen challenges, and members of our community who are deaf face many of the same hardships with the additional challenge of communication while trying to navigate the recovery process. Communique, its staff and community members, stepped up to fill the need our community faced to help aid those with hearing challenges who were displaced by the fire. Interpreters of Communique are already available to give their services day and night, but when disaster struck, our small community went into overdrive with interpretation for individuals, groups, as well as press conferences. One of these interpreters from the press conferences you might remember. She was extremely animated in her interpreting, and for those of us who are not deaf, we thought she was just doing her job extremely well, when in fact, being that animated when interpreting is part of the way deaf people actually sign, as Sandy McLennan is herself deaf. Sandy works with her partner, who listens to the press conferences and immediately signs it to Sandy. Sandy then changes the interpretation into complete ASL, which is what most deaf people use when communicating. Then Sandy adds the flair and emotion of a native sign speaker, which helps to clearly translate to those most in need of her interpretation. Communique founder Chris Eggers explains, deaf community members who wanted to help began showing up at our front door immediately. Dolph Rekop, coordinator of SRJC's ASL department, showed up that same morning and was soon joined by one of his students, Jolie Belinsky, and Amber Tansley, a deaf Sonoma County native with EMT experience. This team of volunteers set up the Deaf Command Center, the DCC, to provide assistance and provide coordination with FEMA, federal agencies, state agencies, and the Red Cross, just to name a few. The day after the fires began, Executive Director of the Deaf Counseling, Advocacy, and Referral Agency sent their advocate, Vance Deathridge, who stayed with our community for over 3 weeks, providing basic necessities for those displaced from the fires, as well as volunteers. Together, this team of staff turned volunteers worked well beyond their hours to walk deaf survivors through every step of the emergency process. Today, the Communique team continues to meet with and support the deaf community as the effects from the fires are still being felt. Please help us honor Communique Interpreting and Deaf Counseling Advocacy and Referral Agency.
Good evening. My name is Veronica Cruz, and I am lucky to be able to introduce to you our next honorees, the Better Beginnings Volunteers. Better Beginnings for Babies is a small nonprofit organization that is 100% comprised of volunteers that make available an array of birth, breastfeeding, and parenting services to hundreds in our community. These wonderful volunteers operate a 24/7 on-call emergency doula program that provides assistance to women needing support during labor, birth, and on-call breastfeeding support program. They sponsor educational trainings for parents, grandparents, doulas, childbirth educators, and lactation specialists. In addition to supporting new families, they offered other services such as screening for postpartum depression, emotional support for fathers, lactation cafes with lactation specialists, and whatever else is required by the village. If there is a need, this small but mighty group of volunteers is on it. One impressive and recent example of these marvelous volunteers in action happened during the October wildfires, when 2 hospitals and a primary clinic serving low-income families closed. Seeing a need, and within days, the Better Beginnings volunteers partnered with Bridges Prenatal Clinic to open their doors to all women needing prenatal care. Women were seen by a nurse midwife, a nurse practitioner, and an OBGYN, all of whom donated their time, and all care was free. After the fire, it seemed only natural that the Better Beginnings would sponsor Reseed Sonoma, which is a program that is helping to replant or rebirth, if you will, our California native wildflowers. This effort is still ongoing and is being sponsored by some local businesses such as Century 21. The city of Santa Rosa is truly blessed to have such treasures as these committed and amazing volunteers of Better Beginnings to help women, families, and the village grow in strength and confidence. We are so grateful for your noble and generous service. Accepting the award tonight is Roseanne Gephardt and the Better Beginnings board members. Please join me in honoring Better Beginnings.
Since I'm the interpreter tonight, I will be reading the following in both English and Spanish. Como yo soy la intérprete esta noche, voy a leer este discurso en inglés y después en español. In the wake of the devastating fires that ravaged our community last October, many undocumented families did not go to shelters but sought refuge on beaches and parking lots. Upon losing their homes, cars, jobs, and belongings, they were denied eligibility for federal aid and risked deportation upon applying. Upon witnessing these challenges, a group of individuals from the respective organizations, Grayton Day Labor Center, North Bay Organizing Project, North Bay Jobs with Justice, and grant makers concerned with immigrants and refugees, got together to establish Undocu-Fund for Fire Relief, with an aim to address the needs of a population which lives in the shadows and in times of disasters is often forgotten. The fires created a shortage in funding and an increase in obligations to the aforementioned nonprofits. Despite these challenges, the respective leaders, Christy Lubin, Mara Ventura, Susan Shaw, Davin Cardenas, Darren Petzod, Ana Lugo, Omar Medina, Harmony Hayes, and Emilia Carvajal, among other volunteers, volunteered hundreds of hours on the founding, planning, and distributing of Undocu-Fund, which up to date has raised close to $6.5 million and has provided direct financial help to over 1,600 families thus far. This funding has helped pay for temporary housing, utility bills, medical and dental expenses, tools required for work, food, and school supplies, among many other things. The transformational work of these incredible individuals has been featured on New York Times, Forbes, The Atlantic, and many other news sources, bringing national attention to the plight of undocumented individuals who contribute daily to the wealth of our country and yet are underappreciated and disproportionately affected during times of disaster. As a small token of appreciation, it is my honor to present them with this Merit Award. Cuando los incendios devastaron nuestra comunidad el último octubre, muchas familias indocumentadas no fueron a los refugios, pero se fueron en vez a las playas y estacionamientos, perdiendo sus casas, carros, trabajos y demás. Fueron negados a ser elegibles para ayuda federal y también tenían el riesgo de deportar si aplicaban. Cuando estas personas vieron estos retos que la comunidad estaba enfrentando, se reunieron para empezar un fondo que se llama UndocuFund y a ayudar a las necesidades de las personas que muchas veces son obligadas. Los incendios crearon cortos fondos para estas organizaciones. Sin embargo, aparte de otras tareas de su trabajo, se reunieron y hasta hoy han juntado más de $6.5 millones y le han dado ayuda financiera a más de 1,600 familias hasta ahora. Estos fondos han ayudado para pagar casas, viviendas temporales, facturas, gastos médicos y dentales y muchas otras cosas más. El trabajo de estos individuos ha sido expresado en diferentes noticieros en el país y ha podido traer mucha atención a la lucha de las personas inmigrantes. Entonces es mi honor darles el premio esta noche.
Good evening. My name is Alexis Nikolai, and I am honored to call down this evening Hope, Love, and Magic for the next award. So if you'd like to join us down here, that would be great. Yeah. Our next award winners are quite unique, and some would even say magical. Since 2015, Katie Kelly and Jessica Martin have been serving their community by dressing up as princesses and superheroes to bring smiles and warm hearts throughout our community. They wave their magical wands to spread cheer in local hospitals, schools, as well as foster and low-income homes. During the October wildfires, they were at the shelters entertaining and dancing with the children who were temporarily housed there, lifting spirits and bringing a glimmer of cheer into their lives. Over the past few years, they have teamed up with others who share their same passion, and they now have a full volunteer superhero and princess cast, including their very own Santa Rosa Spider-Man, Kyle Baxter. Spidey has been essential to their community work and has been a resilient addition to the team. It's also quite impressive to note that their award-winning costumes are all handmade by Jessica herself. As we have discovered, this is a cast who together share a dream of bringing hope, love, and magic into the lives of everyone around them, with a goal to visit as many people as they can. Not only do they bring comfort to children in our community, but to parents and families as well. They do this with respect and kindness while keeping in mind that children see them as true fairy tale princesses, heroes, and as friends. Katie, Jessica, and Kyle, along with a whole cast of characters, bring joy to those who need it most. And in doing so, our whole community benefits from their volunteer efforts. I'm honored to present this Merit Award for serving others to hope, love, and magic. I'd like to welcome Councilmember Ernesto Olivares to the podium.
Good evening. It is clear by the capacity crowd here tonight that service to others really goes to the heart of who we are as a community, so thank you for being here, and it truly is a passion of mine. It is my honor to introduce the second category, the individual category of service to others. Category recognizes individuals for their contributions towards improving the lives of others in Santa Rosa, young people, seniors, and those in need.
I'm back. So not only do I work for the City of Santa Rosa, but I'm also an alumni of the Elsie Allen High School graduating class of 1999, and I am really excited to present this next award. If Willie Tamayo could come on down, please. With a belief in the power of mentorship and using the knowledge he has built throughout his life, our next Merit Award recipient, Willie Tamayo, has committed himself to making sure students from the Southwest Santa Rosa area have greater educational opportunities and experiences. In 2011, Willie visited Elsie Allen High School in Southwest Santa Rosa, taking a tour and speaking with the principal, Mary Gail Stabline, as well as staff, teachers, and students. During this visit, he heard many stories of perseverance and commitment to succeeding in school. Coming from a humble background himself, Willie found that he related to many of the students' stories. When Ms. Stabline shared her vision to build partnerships with community leaders to provide mentoring, job shadowing, internships, and job placements, as well as raising funds for things like college scholarships, Willie became excited and knew that he could lend a helping hand to the students of Elsie Allen. He approached several community members with this vision and began raising funds to help support the school. This initial group became the start of the Elsie Allen High School Foundation, and in 2013, the group transitioned from an informal leadership team to a 501c3. The foundation now has over 20 regular board members and community supporters, with Willie serving as the foundation's board president. The Elsie Allen High School Foundation's mission is to provide opportunities for each Elsie Allen High School student to excel and succeed in life. The foundation has raised over $900,000 and has created an endowment fund for Elsie Allen students in the Compact for Success program. The foundation has also awarded 126 scholarships, which enable students to attend the Santa Rosa Junior College, Sonoma State University, and other colleges, universities, and various career technical programs. The foundation also helped fund over 300 college tours. Through Willie's leadership, the foundation has made the dream of college into a reality for students that could not otherwise afford to go. Please join me in honoring Willie Tamayo.
This next award goes to Amber Bernard. I am honored to present this next award to a brave and outstanding young woman who continues to go above and beyond to serve others in her community. Over the past 6 years, she has participated in and helped fundraise for the Santa Rosa Flock Cancer event that benefits Sutter cancer patients. As a cancer survivor herself, she understands the needs of those fighting cancer and has worked closely with her mother to put together baskets for patients and their families. In addition, during the wildfires, this determined and caring individual volunteered her time distributing meals to survivors in her Coffee Park community. Over the years, she has spent countless hours volunteering for Spring Hill Church events, and in the wake of the wildfires, her and her mother helped take care of the fire survivors' children when childcare was limited. As the holidays approached, she put together thoughtful Christmas totes and trees for fire victims of Pioneer High School to help them restart their collections. In her commitment to serve others, she even found a way to treat her friends who lost their homes in the fires to a special night out as they attended the Band Together benefit concert. This young woman, who is truly deserving of this award, is a sophomore in high school and has demonstrated extreme courage, generosity, compassion, and dedication to those in need. Her mother deserves a special shout out as well for being such an incredible and encouraging role model. I am beyond excited to present an Emerit Award for serving others to the unstoppable Amber Bernard.
I'm presenting the next Merit Award to Katia Robinson. Is she here? And come on down. It is my special honor to share the many, many reasons why Katia Robinson was selected to receive the City Merit Award for serving others. In addition to her day job as a special education teacher of 13 years, Katia is very active and tireless volunteer throughout the special education and soccer communities. Through her volunteer work, she is opening doors and avenues for special needs children, adults, and youth with disabilities, as well as youth from disadvantaged backgrounds, so that they may be able to enjoy the beautiful game of soccer and other sports. She has founded and is currently the director of Rising Stars Soccer Program for kids and adults with disabilities. This program is very special to her in that it promotes inclusion, awareness, and relationship building for people with disabilities and their families. She partners with the Sonoma State Compassion and Philosophy freshman class that teaches compassion while working with children with disabilities. She volunteers and supports the Special Olympics. She creates workout programs at Epicenter Sports Center for teenagers and young adults with disabilities. She collaborates with Santa Rosa Junior College to design adaptive physical education programs for children with disabilities in regular PE classes. She is the president of both the Sonoma County Soccer League, Co-ed Soccer League, and the Women's Soccer League. She is on the advisory council for the nonprofit Goals Foundation, which provides access to sports for disadvantaged youth. In the rest of her free time, she vigorously fundraises and community builds to create a more accepting environment that provides full opportunities for all with disabilities in all settings. Katia's selfless devotion has made the city a better, a happier, and a more accepting place for all, and her positive energy ripples throughout our community and far beyond. Thank you, Katia, for putting other people's needs, interests, and wishes before your own.
For 12 years, Richard Koshnier worked as a physician's assistant serving patients from Mexico and Central America who immigrated to the United States. During this period, he co-founded an immigrants' rights nonprofit and became immersed in the struggle for dignity and human rights for immigrants. When a California law threatened to bar undocumented immigrant women from receiving prenatal care, he was unable to convince his clinic to continue those services, and therefore he resolved to become an attorney. In 2003, he founded a private legal practice in Santa Rosa, which later evolved to the nonprofit Vidas, Vital Immigrant Defense and Advocacy Services, now on its 15th year of providing low-cost and sometimes no-cost legal help for undocumented families. Rick has also volunteered endless hours fasting, marching, speaking, and organizing for the cause. As we all know, when Trump took office, he immediately attacked minorities and immigrant populations. Fear and uncertainty swept our community. In response, Rick helped draft what is now Indivisible Santa Rosa Ordinance. He became a trained legal observer through North Bay Rapid Response Network and volunteers to be on call 24/7 to provide legal help should a detention be reported. Most recently, Rick Koshnier was an instrumental resource for the student-led walkout in response to federal action against Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA. Rick attended every planning meeting, and after 70-hour work weeks, Rick stood out holding a sign for 3 hours every single Monday leading up to the walkout. Rick practices the values that he preaches, and he not only defends people in court, but he listens, cares, and follows their leadership, keeping them at the forefront of his activism. When asked why he does the work of defending the rights and dignity of undocumented folks, Rick Koshnier responded, "We owe a lot to the people we serve. California would not exist without them, and it hurts to see them disrespected." It is my honor to present this award tonight. Por más de 12 años, Richard Koshnier trabajó como un asistente médico, sirviendo a pacientes de México y Centroamérica que llegaron a Estados Unidos. Durante este periodo, él fundó con otros asociados una organización para los derechos y dignidad de inmigrantes. Cuando una ley en California amenazaba a no proveer servicios prenatales a mujeres inmigrantes y él no pudo convencer a la clínica de continuar esos servicios, él se determinó a ser un abogado. En el 2003 él fundó su práctica privada en Santa Rosa, que después se hizo una organización sin fines de lucro. Ahora está en su 15º año proveyendo servicios legales para familias indocumentadas a bajo costo y a veces sin costo también. Él también da muchas horas de voluntario marchando, hablando y organizando para la causa. Como todos sabemos, cuando Trump llegó a la oficina oval, él inmediatamente empezó a atacar a las minorías y poblaciones inmigrantes. Mucho miedo estaba en nuestra comunidad, pero en respuesta, Rick ayudó a que Santa Rosa pudiera seguir con los esfuerzos de Ciudad Santuario y también se convirtió en un observador legal y ahora es voluntario para proveer ayuda legal si alguna detención sea reportada a la línea de respuesta rápida. Rick también ayudó mucho a los estudiantes que hicieron la marcha a favor de DACA y sigue ayudando en muchas maneras a nuestra comunidad. Cuando le preguntamos por qué es la razón de que él hace este trabajo, él dijo que debemos mucho a las personas que servimos, a las personas inmigrantes. California no existiría sin ellos y me duele mucho que no sean respetados. Me da mucho honor darle este premio esta noche.
I'd now like to welcome Councilmember Julie Combs.
Thank you. And I want to thank you all for staying to hear this essential last category. You are all so amazing. We are lucky to share a community with you. Thank you so much for the work you do, for the help you give, for all the essentials that make Santa Rosa the place that's so wonderful for us to live. Neighborhoods are essential to the strength and resilience of any city. Our neighborhoods have unique character, identity, and style. Placemaking in neighborhoods helps us to develop trust and civility. This carries over as we move through a disaster. Through a disaster, it's essential that we know that we can rely on our neighbors. And we've seen this in Coffey Park. So the Strengthening Neighborhoods category recognizes those who strengthen and enrich our neighborhoods make them more healthy, more connected, more resilient, and more enjoyable for all our residents. So thank you all for staying and for doing the work that makes our city great, large and small, in our neighborhoods.
I am Diane Test, and at this time I'd like to introduce my friend and Coffee Park spokesperson, Jeff Okrepke. During the first week of the October 17 fires, which raged uncontrolled, it was critical for Coffee Park residents to learn accurate, updated information about their homes, their families, their pets, and the entire neighborhood. Coffee Park resident Jeff Okrepke saw the need and took on that responsibility. Like his neighbors, Okrepke lost everything, including his 2-year-old son, Tillman's school projects, Christmas presents, the family's ornaments, photographs, keepsakes, and computers, and everything else you can think of. Jeff became the news media's go-to communicator for the status of the Coffee Park neighborhood's challenges. He was frequently seen on TV, sharing those concerns and the needs of this large neighborhood, as well as the ongoing cleanup efforts. A website was created, coffeestrong.com, by the community, and Jeff helped organize Coffee Park into 5 different neighborhoods based on the age and locations of the homes. Coffee Strong has taken on the task of information and resource gathering, as well as being a united front for 650 people. An insurance agent by profession, Jeff held an insurance claims seminar for residents. Jeff continues his involvement in Coffee Park, even though he and his family, as had all Coffee Park residents, moved elsewhere. Congratulations, Jeff Okrepke.
To wrap up the evening, we're going to talk about Ronnie Duvall. So Ronnie, where are you? There you are. Come on down. We need hope, love, and magic here to hear this story. After the fire, Christmas looked pretty bleak for many of the residents who lost their homes. Coffee Park was one of those areas. And then the solar lights started randomly appearing on Hopper Avenue. Ronnie was placing them on the streets. This generated a movement. More people started placing lights, and then came the trees and decorations. Ronnie became the point person to get the donations of trees and lights. Energized by the activity, more people got involved, until it snowballed into a series of events where gifts were given, food was donated, Christmas music played, and Santa came to visit the children. Thousands of people came to see the lights. The magic about one person quietly hanging some Christmas lights. This magic brought the neighborhoods together and brought hope to all. Our sincere thanks, Ronnie Duvall. thank you again for being here. This was a wonderful evening. You kind of can't beat it, can you? And I hope before you leave, you'll talk to each other and congratulate each other, because this is really has been building on something wonderful for all of us. And I hope you'll take advantage of it. Good night, and thank you for coming.